Ladies and gentlemen, it is so beautiful to see you all here today. Thank you so much for coming. Before we get started, I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. The Museum of the City of New York is situated in the center of New York's metropolitan area. Traditionally the land of the Lenape, Manhattan, Canarsie, Shinnecock, Muncie, Manticock, Setauket, Ukacheg, Nantucket, and others, all of whom have descendants living today. Native communities across the Americas have demonstrated resilience and resistance in the face of violent efforts to separate them from their land, culture, and each other. We offer recognition and respect to the indigenous inhabitants of this land. New York City has always been and continues to be a place of gathering and exchange for indigenous peoples, many of whom choose to call this home. I also want to take a moment to thank and acknowledge those Africans who were stolen and enslaved to work these lands. I also want to acknowledge all those ancestors who have transitioned, who fought for freedom. And finally, I want to acknowledge all those who continue to fight for freedom. I am our ancestors' wildest dream. Well, hello, it's hot today, right? It's a little hot, but it's beautiful for so many different reasons. I am James C. Horton, Vice President of Education and Engagement here at the Museum of the City of New York, and thank you again for joining us today. My brothers and sisters, I stand here with you on this momentous day when the country has acknowledged Juneteenth as a day of freedom, as a day of independence, as Freedom Day. Now, this day might be new to some of you it might be old, so we're a history museum, and I have to do my job. I have to give you a little history. So Juneteenth is Juneteenth because not because the Emancipation Proclamation was signed today, but because today, or tomorrow rather, today is June 18th, tomorrow was the day that Major General Gordon Granger landed in Galveston, Texas, with the news the war had ended and that the enslaved were now free. 2 years after the actual Emancipation Proclamation was signed, which was on January 1st, 1863. And now, 156 years later, 156 years is not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time at all. That is when the last enslaved people on this land were told that they were free. Just sit with that for a minute. 156 years ago. We have centurions who are walking amongst us. This year will be the first year that New York City will be recognizing Juneteenth as a state holiday. On June 17th, 2020, Governor Cuomo declared Juneteenth a holiday for state employees. 2 days later, Mayor Bill de Blasio made Juneteenth a city and school holiday for 2021, noting that it should become a moment of truth-telling, a day for examination and shining light. It is a holiday, in fact, that millions and millions of Americans didn't know existed. But now, as it comes to the fore, it's perfect for change and perfect for transformation. So before we get started with our program here today, I just want to thank some MCNY staff members. I want to thank our public programs team. Without them, none of this would be possible. Francis Rosenfeld, who's our director of public programs, Lillian Lesser, who is not here right now, Maria and Susanna. Just want to give you all a shout out and say thank you so much. And I also want to thank the MCNY board and staff for putting their resources and support behind this event. So now that all the formalities are done, who's ready for some freedom songs? All right. So the folks who we have performing for you today are very near and dear to my heart. Kenyatta Emmanuel and friends. Kenyatta is an amazing musician, an activist, and humanitarian. He is an artist that has graced the stages of Carnegie Hall and is just somebody who I think is the embodiment of what freedom is. So you will hear from Kenyatta first, and then throughout the program, you will see and hear works from Shanelle Gabriel, who is an activist, artist, poet, singer, advocate for lupus. She is a transformational human being, an amazing woman, and that is our poet who will grace us with her words this afternoon. She is also an HBO deaf poet, and you can check her out online. Her work is amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all are tired of hearing me talk, so I would love to turn things over to my brother, Kenyatta Emmanuel and friends.
So first of all, I'd like to, welcome everybody, as James has done, and say it's a great honor and a privilege to be here with you. Oh, don't worry, I'll get it out. It's all right, you're fine. I also want to say it's interesting when James talks about. James mentioned some facts, right? He mentioned some facts like the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation in June 19th. Being when folks in Galveston in Texas found out, that Lincoln had, he was like, hey, let him go. And Texas was like, forget it. So they said no. So the interesting thing about that is facts are important so that we know them. But stories, right? That's where things live. They live in our bodies, right? Music lives in our body. Culture lives in our bodies. And that's how we register these things. So if you'll go with me this afternoon, if you go with us this afternoon, I'm joined by my good friend Ivan Boogie Khalif and Isaiah Sumali. And we'll be joined by Shanelle Gabriel as well, as James mentioned. But if you'll go with me this afternoon, we'll take a moment to have these songs kind of sit in your body. And I want you to think about what that means. Think about how they feel. I want you to think about the way that the people who sang them felt in those moments. And we'll see if we can't have a little bit of that for ourselves. Because that's where, that's where they live. That's why we're celebrating this. New York's a little late to the party. It's all right. Personally, I'm from Missouri, right? I'm from Missouri originally. I lived in Texas for a good part of my childhood. So Juneteenth isn't new to me. And I remember when folks have been talking about it lately up here. And I went home recently for the first time in a very long time. And I told my dad, I was like, yeah, it's Juneteenth is now a state holiday in New York. And he's like, oh, really? Like he was surprised that it hadn't been already. Because back home, we'd already been living with it. We were aware of this sort of cultural, the freedom songs, if you will, and the way that felt. So we're going to take a little narrative, a little story arc musically. We'll begin with the beginning of this tale, sort of. We're going to take a little trip to the ships themselves, and with freedom songs. We're going to start with a bit of Bob Marley's redemption songs. And think about what he's talking about, how that must have felt to feel the things that he was thinking about folks feeling, right? Go ahead. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at a time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. But won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from into slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had is redemption songs, redemption songs, these songs of freedom, songs of freedom. Thank you. I imagine being in that space, in that dark place. I mean, Bob wasn't there, but I suppose he could imagine it as well. And I wonder if you can. I wonder if you can imagine what it was like there. I wonder if you can imagine what it was like in those fields where folks would make music to work by. Negro spirituals. And folks would hear them later, and they would say to themselves, oh, it sounds like they're having a good time out there. Because the music feels good. But the thing is that music, sometimes when things feel bad, music still feels good, even when music's about a rough thing. And then sometimes you don't necessarily know what it's about. So they would have these conversations out in the field. Folks up in the house, they didn't know it was a conversation. They thought, it's just folks trying to get the work done. They need a little something to work by. But it was a conversation. They was telling them where things was at. They would tell them to wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Good work. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade. No shuffle, no shuffle. We working now. We putting our back to it. So we like, let me get a little help from y'all here. We say it's like wade in the water. That's it. Wade in the water, children wading in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. So I'm gonna ask y'all for a little bit of help now. Now don't stop clapping. Come on. We got work to be done. You don't get to stop working just because I'm talking. So they be doing that together. So what I'm gonna need from y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to give me a little bit of help. I only need two things, right? I need y'all to say wade in the water, and I need y'all to say God's gonna trouble the water, right? As we know how that works. So I'm gonna point to you. The first time I point to you, you're gonna say wade in the water. The second time I point to you, you're gonna say God's gonna trouble the water, right? So the verse gonna say like this. Jordan's river is deep and wide. Wade in the, that's right. I'm gonna meet my friends on the other side, and God's gonna trouble the water. Jordan's river is chilly and cold. Wade, that's good, in the water. Lord, it chills my body, but not my soul. God's gonna trouble the water. Now who's them people all dressed in red? That's good. Yeah. Said it must be the people that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. And who's them people all dressed in white? Yes. Lord, it must be the children of the Israelites. Yeah. Well, who's there yonder, all dressed in black? It must be them hypocrites turning back. God's gonna trouble. Now we all gonna wade in the water. We gonna say wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. 'Cause God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. Wait. God's gonna trouble the water. Say, God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble. That's right. She knows. She knows. The child knows. See? And folks is listening to that. They're like, listen to that. They talking about wading in the water. They talking about getting down. They getting baptized. Ain't nothing wrong with getting baptized, by the way. I've been baptized. But that's not just what they were talking about. They were talking about them folks all dressed in white, them folks all dressed in red, them folks all dressed in black. They talking about wading in that water, because when them dogs is on your track and you run downstream, not up, because the water will take your scent back to them. But if you go the way the water goes, then it takes your scent away for the dogs so that they can't track you down. Folks didn't know that. When they talking about meeting them at certain times, and they talk about some serious issues here, because people know about, folks when they saw that film Harriet, everybody's like, oh, this is great. We got a hero. And she was. She's doing big things, important things. Folks ain't waiting around to get freed by soldiers and whatnot, and declarations and proclamations and all that. We got to get up out of here. And she was taking folks, and she was carrying a pistol with her. And she was carrying that for protection, but what she was also carrying it for, when we talking about hearing them folks all dressed in black, is you get to a certain point, there wasn't no turning back. Can't let you go back, can't let you perhaps give us up, because this is a serious, serious thing. It's a serious, serious thing. It's folks, you listen to the songs, and the song says, this is interesting, think about this. The song says, I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. Just think about like all the words in that sentence. He said, I wish I was free. I wish I knew freedom. He said, I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. It's a lot of things going on right there. That's how foreign it was. That's how foreign the idea of it was. And then they came up in that spot and they said to them, hey, y'all free. Y'all been free for 2 years. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? All right, go ahead. Everybody go. And I want you to imagine for a second, if you will, imagine when you heard about that, right? Because you knew it was coming. Even if you didn't have the internet, right? You didn't have television, you didn't have all the things that we got now, but folks heard. They said, yo, no, you listen, I heard that up north, I heard that in the states, only a couple of states over, because Texas was a holdout for real. They were like, nah. But they said, yo, and I heard that they said the general's coming in, and they said that when he get here, he gonna say, and there's other folks saying, nah, it's never gonna happen. And there's folks saying, no, it's already happened. They just ain't tell us about it yet. So I wonder what it would feel like to be, and he was up on a balcony. He was looking down at the people, and he told them, hey, that thing is done. That thing is over. I wonder how that would feel, what that would feel like. Yeah, let's talk about that right there. Mm-hmm. I love the way that guitar sound and piece is just. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could give all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give, and I wish I could live how I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do, though it's way overdue. I'd be starting anew. I wish I could fly like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. I'd sail up to the sun and I'd look down at the sea, and I'd sing because I know, yeah, Lord, I'd sing because I know, yeah, I would sing because I know, Lord, I'd sing because I know how it feels to be free. Yeah, to be free. It's like, you can go now. It's like, okay, oh, we can leave. They're like, yes, you can leave. It's like, you can go. And that's good. And it's 40 acres and a mule and other things and all the stuff, all the things. Tulsa. Things wasn't necessarily right because folks' hearts wasn't necessarily right. It's a lot of folks didn't want to talk about how we got to where we was at. It's like, okay, we're just gonna start over. We're just gonna everything. Okay, we cool, right? We cool, right? You good? All right. Not exactly. Things don't really work that way. So we find ourselves, moving forward and going through all these things and thinking, okay, what's freedom and what does freedom look like? What does freedom feel like? And how are we gonna work this thing out? And it gets rough. It can get something like depressing. But again, the music helps us to deal with. The music helps make sense of the sadness, right? To get it out. Southern trees bear strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scenes of the gallant South. Them big bulging eyes, that twisted mouth. Scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh. And then the scent of burning flesh. Here is fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the leaves to drop. Here is a strange and bitter cry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Shanelle Gabriel. All right. Oh, I realized you were a little shorter than me, but only a little. You good? It's good height? Oh no, you should go around the back. Yeah, it's high. It's high. All right.
Yeah, that's perfect. They're a little lower. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, give it up for this amazing performance that we've seen thus far. Thank you, Kenyatta, for allowing me the space on your set. So I'm a poet and a singer, and I think where we left off with the last song, that song always brings tears to my eyes every time I hear Strange Fruit, and it kind of gave light to the idea that just saying that a people are free is not enough, that there were things that needed to happen, and that her voice, that singing, that the music actually spoke to the things that needed to be changed. So this poem, I was thinking about where music became my first love, and it was church. And I'm gonna sing a little excerpt that inspired this poem. You gave me my voice to speak your word, to sing all the praises to those who never heard. But with my eyes I see I need for more availability. I see hearts that have been broken, so many people to be free. I was born with blue lips. My cry was shrill but soft. My lungs, like my mother, needed assistance to keep me alive. I wasn't a child that would cry often. I found joy in just existing. My stepmother taught me to open my mouth, let the words tumble out of my throat, call praise to my lips, but only to improve upon silence. She never told me what to say, but something in me knew to sing. Something in me knew a melody could connect me to something greater than myself. My tongue, it loved hymns, how the lyrics danced and floated to echo on church walls. The organ vibrated from my frilly white socks to the lace ribbons in my hair, and I preferred singing to prayer. Every time the music transposed to a higher note, it was like my soul would float to the gates of glory. The choir wasn't the only place for the harmonies I heard in my head. The fermatas were cushions where angels would find a seat, when I sang, I knew there was a power there. There is a power in voice, in vocalizing hurt, vocalizing the silent voices of the marginalized, highlight the hidden figures, even ignored, while leading the revolution. Vocalizing the joy. This season has been a homecoming, recognizing there have been voices, stories left out. Faulkner said the past is never dead, it's not even past. Nothing is new. Black death and black joy both need to be spoken to, fought for. We need to approach this fight unafraid. Think of those who came before us, draw from theirs and our collective energy as we balance the tightrope of life. Recognize our voices' necessity, continually battle the misinformation, those that claim our voice and vote don't matter, but if it didn't have power, they wouldn't fight to suppress it. And this is the hour we have to pull each other through, sing together. This moment was meant to be for the future, to save us present, and we sing of freedom. We sing of accountability to anyone looking to fill a Senate seat, create demands before the ballot, and remind them after the win. Create a world, stated by Lena, where all spaces require representation. And I have to sing this Juneteenth, we sing of being free, and freedom is a target moving constantly. So I will sing till every voice is free to join me, till those pushed to the outskirts are finally heard, till my input in this world is valued, till intersectionality is considered in advocacy, till I see reflections of me in every government seat, till our imagination inspires the nation, till every vote is counted and communities have access to the polls, till all women are given credit for how they continuously make this world whole. I'm going to sing of hope. I'm going to create a song for every key to be sung together by every person. A wonderland weaving harmonies. We will turn every place we stand into our tabernacle. The bass line be our heartbeat, dreaming that one day each note will come closer to equality, and we will sing like the sweltering South. We will sing like Miss Simone. We will sing like Miss Holiday, and we will sing like Marley and Hathaway, whose words float and flood. We will sing of freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shanelle Gabriel. What? Yeah, I know. So, yeah, that's exactly, that's the point, right? Whew, freedom is, she said freedom is a target moving, that's it. So we're gonna keep aiming for it, we're gonna keep reaching for it, we're gonna keep striving for it, we're gonna get there, right? Someday, it's a promise. Sounds so much better out here. It's crazy back there. I couldn't hear nothing. This is so clean and crisp. Good job, James. Well done. Hang on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Get yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind your fears. Brighter days will soon be here. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. I'm just gonna take a quick moment. We're wrapping this thing up, and I want to thank James for even asking me to do this. I want to thank my wonderful wife, who was incredibly helpful when this was happening. And I ain't the easiest person to live with when I'm getting ready for things like this. Y'all have no idea. It's good to see my family here, and it's good to see my family here. It's good to see my family here. And this is a promise of a sort, right? Take it from me. And this is not necessarily a pie in the sky type of thing. We're here right now because a day is being remembered that folks had to fight to even get acknowledged before it would even be accepted and respected and provision made for it. So the journey is long, and it's 3 steps forward and 2 back, then like 12 back, and then a knee on the neck for damn near 9 minutes, and things get a little rough, but it'll work out because we're gonna make it work out. It ain't gonna work out by itself. We got to work it out. She said it's a target moving, so we gotta keep aiming, we gotta keep moving, we gotta keep striving. If you sit down and you wait, it ain't gonna happen. It's only gonna happen if we do it, right? Keep on walking tall. Hold your head up high. Lay your dreams right up to the sky. Sing your greatest song. And we'll keep going, growing on. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Yeah. Just wait and see, someday we'll all be free. Yeah. Oh, you can take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Just wait and see, someday we'll all be free. Thank y'all so much for coming. It ain't over. Well, you can clap though. Yay, clap, clap, it's great. We having a good time, it's great, it's wonderful. But once more, I mean, we done. But once more, I would like to welcome the amazing, incomparable Shanelle Gabriel.
Thank you. So to close out, I just wanted to share this piece. The piece is called Aim High. It's the title of my second album, and I looked at that piece when I wrote it, this poem, song, hybrid that I created, and think about how we're all still constantly trying to reach more. And even as it's very easy to get comfortable in things that we are, but we are always keep trying and striving for the world that we want to see. And that goes for personally as well as globally, right? So this piece is called Aim High, and I hope it speaks to somebody in here, and especially I say as a person of color, as a black woman, this is something that in our communities we do need to constantly keep reminding each other that sometimes we can't even imagine, and they say that we are our ancestors' wildest dreams, like they could not have imagined that we'd be in these spaces and these places and standing in front of this beautiful museum, sharing our music, our songs, and the experiences. And it's important for us to still keep that dreaming, still keep that going, and this piece speaks to that. Aim high, shoot far, aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll hit a star. Aim high, then you shoot far. Just aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll hit a star. And it's easier to want things than to get them. Most people have dreams, but they never manifest them. Pressure makes diamonds. You have to mine if you want to come out shining. And dreams mean nothing if they leave when eyelids flutter open. Empires weren't built from just wishing and hoping. See, doors won't always open. Opportunities may pass, ships may sail, but you have control of the mast. And this is your sea. This is your sky. It's your destiny. Let no one break your concentration. They got that tunnel vision. Let them stay in their mental train stations, because success, it's a journey, not a destination. You need to have that patience, that drive to make your passions come alive, and you alone can decide how far you will go, and God gave you his divine ability. Believe in, speak it into being, see before actually seeing, give your life meaning. As you attain what you envision, keep on dreaming. Don't ever let it die. Don't be that eagle that never knew he could fly. As you attain what you envision, keep on dreaming. Don't ever let it die. Don't be that eagle that never knew he could fly, and I apologize for making it sound painless. See, it's a long process, I must confess, and you don't know what faith is. You give something your all without a sign of the next step, the next nap, the next check, the next meal, no indication of a record deal. See, I know how it feels to struggle, life's troubles, feeling stuck, feeling like a Mini Cooper up against an armored truck. When problems pile in your life, it makes it easier to climb, because when you conquer them, you'll be standing high. And I know so many people failed because they failed to realize how close they were to success when they decided to no longer try. See, our ancestors died, and many of our parents gave their lives to making sure we had the means to become anything we dared to dream. Nothing worth having comes easy. That's why the road to the top can be so lonely, but see, it's only temporary. They say success is never ending, failure, it's never final. You've got something inside you that's special. Don't ever let it die. Don't be the eagle that never knew that he could fly. He could fly, he could fly. Said, aim high, and then you shoot far. Just aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll hit a star. Aim high, and then you shoot far. Just aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll hit a star. But if you ain't moving mountains, you better kick rocks. Rocking from the south to the Brooklyn blocks, astronomical track, I got it locked. You ain't in this constellation, no conversation. My head's a little puffy, can't lock up my shine, can't deny. What I do is simply divine, and I'm about my business. You can't compete, even my teeth have my work ethic, they grind in my sleep. I'm a flawed individual, flesh battling, spiritual, trying to speak miracles with limited funds. Been working till the moon becomes the sun, building like a carpenter, we've only just begun. And record label said I wasn't cute enough. My national success wasn't proof enough, so they signed a model girl, and wouldn't you know, she had a family and called off all the shows. It's hard to see folk with less talent than you. They're making bigger moves with a massive crew, but this ain't show and tell, this is show and prove. I'm proof, nothing's ever handed to you. Been missing birthdays and family events, cause your out-of-town show has to pay your rent. Before you got a check, it's already spent. My lupus flared up, my mom's a cancer patient. My mom's a cancer patient. Rest in peace, she was a cancer patient. Bad things happen, that's how it works out. But applause is the closest thing I got to a handout. It's about putting fate into your own hands. Man, I'm trying to put fate into my own hands. Manifesting God's plan, so I aim high, and then I shoot far. I aim for the moon. If I miss, I'll hit a star. Aim high, and then you shoot far. Just aim for the moon. If you miss, you'll hit a star. Thank you for allowing me to share that. My name is Shanelle Gabriel.
Can we give our artists another round of applause, please? Wait a minute, y'all got to come out here. Get your flowers. Come out here, please. Thank you. Thank you. Shanelle Gabriel. Boogie on percussion. Kenyatta Emmanuel, lead vocals. And on the strings, my man, Isaiah Sumali. Thank you all so much for coming out today. This will be the first of many Juneteenth celebrations to come in New York City and at the Museum of the City of New York. Again, I want to thank you, Whitney, I want to thank you for making space for this to happen. Whitney Donhauser is the president of the Museum of the City of New York. Whitney, thank you. Again, go forth, be free, and help somebody else get free, y'all. Please. Thank you again.